and do it for about they tried to put all talk no action. They took an unexpected reaction. No, I never break my codes were just allegations, not my fault. I was born for the man. If you know the cut the phone and respond to it wouldn't mean she knows I'm a champion. Spoke on the mountain, and the one the mountain. Shout out to the OGs and again. It's time to pass on the baton to champion. I'm gonna mash up the scene by anthems. It's chance to the sea in the car, and you know what's happening. I got three competition because I'm good, because I'm not confident.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you loud
No,
and
good
clear.
afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay.
Though it's breaking a bit.
It's breaking.
Yeah, it's breaking a bit.
Is it breaking?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Is it okay? Is it okay now or it's breaking? Let me be sure.
It's still breaking.
I've done my thoughts.
Straight to the business. I hate going for the corner. Look at the phone and it's not the boy being made. She knows I'm a champion. Spoke on the mountain.
Good evening, everyone on the call now. Please remind your friends, remind your study buddies. The session will soon start in about 5 minutes time.
My faults were just allegations, not my fault. I was born for the man. If you know, then you know. Bro, niggas know it's a champion sound. The enjoy this time around. It's straight to the business. I hate going for the corners. Look at the phone and it's not the wouldn't mean she knows I'm a champion. Spoke on the mountain. And the one the banter. Shout out to the OGs and again. It's time to pass on the baton to champion. I'm gonna mash up the scene by anthems. It's chance to the sea in the car, and you know what's happening. I got zero competition because I'm good, because I'm not confident.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better now?
Yes, sir, it's better now. I think you will just have to be a little bit more audible.
Okay, that's fine. No problem.
All right, so good evening, everyone on the call. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining from. The session will soon start. Please remind your friends, remind your study buddies, your groups. Don't have fault to miss this.
Best thing, realize giving you the red skin. You was in a bad mood when we stepped in. Though you checked out and we even checked in. On the phone, you can't vent to your best friend. The one who gave you the lecture, but I ain't gonna sweat you, babe. I'm a lecture. Catch up with your boy, undress you. Let me tell you why I'm a blessing. Going in my mind, falling away in my heart. I know you feel the same when you're with me. You know I'm all you need. You're where I wanna be. My darling, can't you see? I know.
You're welcome to today's live session. Please do well to remind your friends, do well to remind your study buddies, your partners, your groups. Tell them to join the session. You don't want to miss this.
I like the sound of fiance. You know, it's not a little ring to it, really, when I think of it. Growing up, I didn't ever see marriages. No weddings, no horse, no carriages. I want to do things different and change the narrative. God knows you're a wild child, beautiful child. I need your help. Looking like you come from the 90s by yourself. My mom's 61. Her favorite line to tell her son is sometimes she wishes that she had help. I want to take you back to a time, back to a trip. You had that white wine that I never got to sip. And dinner was ruined because you never got to pick. I know that everybody told me that I'm sick. Cause
So falling away in my heart, I know you feel the same way you're with me. You know I'm all you need. You're where I wanna be. My darling, can't you see? I love freaking you. Freaking you. Freaking you. Freaking you. Freaking you. Freaking you. Freaking you.
that's the thing with it. Rock with it. You feel rock, I can put a rock. You feel rock, I can put a rock. I'm put a rock in it. So rock with it. Bounce it. The left wrist, I can put my house in it. You would have let me. I can put my house in it. I can put my house in it. I said, shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, 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 yeah. 5'9" brown eyes, and she in the shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, 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 yeah. 5'9" brown eyes, and the shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, 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 yeah. 5'9" brown eyes, and she in the shimmy, yeah, shimmy, 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 yeah. 5'9" brown eyes.
Good evening once again, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to today's live session. I'm sure you're happy to be here. And how has the learning been going? You can just send your reactions. Let me see your reactions. How has the learning been going so far? How has the learning been going so far? Great, great, great. Just like we know, today's session is Introduction to Microsoft Fabric. Introduction to Microsoft Fabric, and we have one of the best in the game, one of the best in the game with us today, Mr. Folorunsho Ajala. So before I bring him on, let's go through our ground rules. So as we know, punctuality, have an open mind, be ready to learn. One class, we are all one. Participation, so we need everybody to participate. Respect, please respect each other. Ask questions. Something is not clear to you, please ask questions. Nobody is an island of knowledge. Your mic is muted always, so before you speak, you raise your hand before you speak. And yes, who am I? My name is Adediran David. So I'm a business intelligence analyst at Telino Consulting Limited. So just few things about me is I was also a partaker of the Analytics Extra Mentorship program, just like you are today, and it has also benefited me. I'm committed to continuous learning, professional growth, and networking. But aside data, I also enjoy taking pictures and videos. So now, drum rolls. Our instructor for today, Mr. Folorunsho Ajala, is a data and analytics engineer at Onyx Data United Kingdom. He's the founder of Cloudlytics Hub. You see some of his professional experience. He's a Microsoft Certified Power Platform, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, Microsoft Certified Fabric Analytics Engineer, Microsoft Certified Fabric Data Engineer Associate, the Databricks Data Analyst Associate. He has 3+ years business intelligence experience. He's a corporate trainer with deep understanding. He has built robust analytic report. You can see he's all rounder. He's all rounder. Let's welcome Mr. Folorunsho Ajala. Mr. Folorunsho Ajala. You can just throw in your reactions to welcome him on board. Mr. Folorunsho Ajala, sir, you can take over now. Hello, sir, you're with us. You're up now. Sorry, I think he's having network issues. So let's check him. I have to check in with him.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, loud and clear now. Loud and clear. Not the network.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear now.
Sorry, my silence network is there. And I there is- can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, but your line is breaking, so
Sorry about that. I'm really struggling with sometimes. Let me see what I can do.
okay. So let's give him a few minutes. So please, if you know someone here, someone that is not someone that is not here that should be here, please reach out to them while we wait for Mr. Fallon Show to.
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, sir.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Okay, I think most people cannot, they cannot talk, right? Like their mic is mute. Am I right? Just to be sure if what kind of reaction I will get from the audience.
I'm sorry, sir, your voice is faint. I think you're far from your mic.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's fair now. It's fair.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that how can I get feedback from people? Is it via reaction or they can chat?
Yeah, the chats and the reactions.
Okay.
Then at the end of the session, if they have questions, they raise their hands and ask their questions.
Okay, you can. Okay, I think people can hear me. All right, that's fine. Okay, so let's get started then. So good afternoon, everyone. I believe our moderator have already do introduction. I've already talked about me, so I won't really say much about that. But I would just like, I think this is a mentorship section. So before I dive into the main subject matter, which is introduction to Microsoft Fabric, I know a couple of weeks, I think I watched some of the previous section that you guys have had, and seen a lot of amazing speaker coming here to talk to us about this career paths and all. Yeah, it's not an easy journey anyway. But one thing is that I remember that, let me say, 3 years ago, I was also part of this platform, and I think one of my mentor, I think, is also Adewale, the organizers of this program as well. Is one of the, I would like to say, one of the greatest analytic guys that I look up to, and I think that was like 2022. Then I was a copper then, and I just joined the mentorship section then, just like the way everybody is on this call today. And I like the way he break concept down, invited people to come and speak to us, and since then I'm always inspired. Looking forward to looking up to him. His journey and how he do things, helping people, and how and learning as well is one of the great things that I've learned for him. So the journey is not easy as well. So I would just like to encourage us that please let's take use of this opportunity very well. And when we are learning, let's make sure that we learn with practice. Don't just learn and putting stuff on LinkedIn and think that as well. Let us also practice what we learn and try as much as possible to push ourselves out there. Right. So I would like to say the my profile that was read. I think I posted it on my status some hours ago, comparing to 2 years or 3 years backward, that I don't even have anything to say about myself. But now I'm actually proud of myself that this is where I am, and I will also have to give it to Adewale Yusuf for giving this platform for people to learn, collaborating, networking, and all. So please, guys, let's make use of this wonderful opportunity as well, because I was once like you as well. Yeah, I was. So, okay, so let's move on to the main reason why we are here today. So, which is Microsoft Fabric. I'm sure that you guys have learned a lot of things around analytics. You have heard of Excel, Microsoft Power BI. You have heard of SQL, Python. Data engineering, data scientists, data analysts. Now, everybody is doing their thing, right? So, I believe the introduction of Microsoft Fabric is just to okay, let me share my screen. And I think I have just a little brief slide for us to look at. Please let me know if you can see my screen. So we won't really be talking much because...
Not yet, sir. We can't see your screen, sir. Not yet.
All right. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, what about now?
Okay, yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll not be talking much like that, but just to give us, we are talking about introduction anyway. So Microsoft Fabric and what brought Microsoft Fabric. So how many of us on this platform knows Microsoft Azure? We have been on Azure platform before. Yeah, just react if you have used Microsoft Azure before. Anybody that have used Azure before? Anyone? Just react if you have used Microsoft Azure. If you have not used it before, you can just type no. I'll check the chat to see our response. Okay, if you have used Azure before, can you just say yes? Can you type yes? And if you have not, just say no if you have not. Okay, no, okay. Okay, I think I got some answers already. Use which one, please? I mean, Microsoft Azure. Okay, so it's fine. So Microsoft Fabric is all about end-to-end analytics solution. Is a platform where you can collaborate with one another, whether you are a data analyst, whether you're a data scientist, whether you're a data engineer. So how many of us are data analysts on this platform? If you're a data analyst, can you just type data analyst? If you're a data engineer, just type data engineer. And if you're a data scientist, can you just type data scientist? So let me see who we have on this call. Yeah. So if you're a data analyst, just type data analyst, or you can just type DA or DE or DS just to, okay, data analyst, okay. Yeah, data analyst, okay, data analyst, okay. Interesting, DA. Okay, interesting. I've seen a lot of data analysts now. Yeah. Okay. So I believe at the end of this section, I want to move us from data analyst to let me say data engineer. Should I say data engineer? Let me say analytics engineer. So yeah, someone say data and B are interesting. Okay, so at the end of this workshop, because I will call it a workshop, because we are going to be doing some demo and see how things are. Okay, we have one data engineer. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. Data engineer. So for those of us that are data analysts, right? So I want us to change our mindset today. Don't just be a data analyst again, because the technology is changing, everything is changing. Power BI is evolving. A lot of us, I know a lot of us are into Power BI. We know Power BI, we know visualization, we know Excel, we know SQL already. But now we need to move from where we are to step forward to integrate Microsoft Fabric into whatever we are doing, whether you are working in an organization, whether you are working alone, or maybe you are even doing freelancing. You can introduce Microsoft Fabric to your clients and to your organization as well. So what is Microsoft Fabric? Microsoft Fabric is an end-to-end analytics solution. It's a platform that brings all the analytical workspace together. Like I said, whether you're a data analyst, you can make use of Microsoft Fabric. Whether you're a data engineer, you can make use of Microsoft Fabric. Whether you're a data scientist, even if you're a solution architect, you can also make use of Microsoft Fabric as well, right? So that is just about Microsoft Fabric. Is an end-to-end solution. So let's quickly look at what we are about to do today when it comes to the introduction of Microsoft Fabric, and see how we can make use of this technology. So we have this solution, this architecture, where we are going to be ingesting data from different platforms, like data lake, from your Azure data lake, from your Azure SQL database, loading data from your OneDrive, and we're going to be loading everything into your lakehouse, right? So lakehouse is a combination of your data lake and your warehouse. And for those that are data engineer here, they will understand what a data lake is. So data lake is where you store data. And when we say where you store data, that is where you store any kind of data, whether it is structured data, whether it is unstructured data. You store all forms of data in your data lake, right? Then your warehouse, we all know warehouse. You can only store what? A structured data in your warehouse. When I say structured data, what does it mean? You can only store data that are in rows and columns in your warehouse. So now when we now say lakehouse is what? Is a combination of what? Of a data lake and a warehouse. So that means that you can do things like make use of your different technologies like Apache Spark to transform data from your data lake. You can use your SQL to transform data or to query data in your data lake, and you can also make use of your Scala and other languages like R and Python as well in your data lake. So that is one of the advantages and beautiful of data lake, of your lakehouse as well, because it has a lot of a lot of things inside it. Yeah, a lot of things inside it. Yeah. So let's move on. Okay, so when we talk about Microsoft Fabric, so there are concepts that we need to be aware of. And what are the concepts? We have what they call one lake, and what they have we call the lake house. What is one lake? So one lake is a unified storage system for all data within Microsoft Fabric structure, whether it is structured, semi-structured, or unstructured data. So when you hear of one lake, what is one lake? One lake is the storage. When we talk about storage, just like we have data lake in Azure, just like we have S3 in AWS, different storage system that you might have heard of. So when you come to Microsoft Fabric, you'll be hearing of one lake. So one lake is where you have all your data being stored, right? We have all your data being stored. And when you heard of the word lake house, so a lake house is a workspace built on top of your lake house, of your one lake design for managing and analyzing large data sets. So sorry, please, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now, but it keeps going off and on.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, all right, thank you. So Lakehouse is what? Is a workspace built on top of the one lake design for managing and analyzing large data set, and it's combined the flexibility of a data lake and the structure of a data warehouse, which I already mentioned earlier, right? Making it perfect for advanced analytics and machine learning. So if you want to do anything around, whether you're a data scientist, I think I mentioned it earlier, you can work with this system, right? You can work with this system, right? You can work with this system. So just think of your lake house as the house where you process, you analyze, and you can even derive insights from your lake house. You can do a lot of things within your lake house. When it comes to SQL, you can make use of your SQL. So don't be scared when you are hearing these big names like lake house. You feel like, oh, I've not heard of this thing before. Will I be able to do this? You can do it. I'm also from a data analyst background, right? So you can also do it. Do you understand? So these are just technology, let me say terminology's name. So don't worry yourself about those big names. So you can do it. So in the Microsoft Fabric ecosystem, we have a lot of um, different experience. We have the data factory, the Synapse data engineering, Synapse data science, Synapse data warehousing, the real-time analytics. If you want to do real-time, yeah, we also have the event stream where you can do your real-time analytics as well. The Power BI is also part of the Microsoft Fabric ecosystem, and we also have alerts where you can, create an alert in case maybe you want to do real-time analytics as well. So that is that. So in this workshop, we are going to be looking at the step, a roadmap that we have set. So we're going to be setting up a lakehouse, ingesting data from different platforms, which I actually want to focus more on today, ingesting data from different platforms, then how to create a data modeling as well. Then we're also going to see how Power BI can be integrated together. So whether you are from data engineering background or you are from Power BI or data analyst background or you're a business intelligence analyst, this is actually for you. So within the Microsoft Fabric environment, you can implement a comprehensive data management solution with Microsoft Fabric. You can use it to enhance your power of Microsoft Fabric to build a robust and scalability solution within your organization. You can use it to unlock the full potential of your data and drive data-driven decision within comprehensive approach. A lot of organizations are now even, adopting Microsoft Fabric because of its end-to-end. You don't have to be jumping from one platform to another platform. And I can see that a lot of organization, a lot of technologies. I was reading on LinkedIn today that Database you cannot even connect your Delta Lake from Databricks directly to Microsoft Fabric. So you can see how fantastic this solution is because you don't even have to. And when you are connecting, it's not like you are moving data. You can just create a shortcut into all these platforms. You are not moving data. Your data sit down in whatever storage they have. The only thing you are just doing, you can just do a shortcut, you can do mirroring of your data. So you don't move data from any platform. So it is just, very easy and very easy to do. So when we talk about the lakehouse, it's a centralized platform, right? Where you can store data. When it comes to the storage, it is scalable and is also a unified data access. So what are the technologies that we're going to be looking at? Data injection, which I mentioned, data transformation, orchestration. We're also going to be looking at how to create a pipeline within the Microsoft Fabric environment. So because of time, I have a very short time. So I'm also mindful of the time. So if I'm fast, I'm very sorry about that. So data modeling, I'm sure that we help us familiar with it. You can also do data modeling here, create your dimensional modeling, creating partitioning in your warehouse, incremental processing. You can also achieve that. Then creating your Power BI reports, interactive visualization, all this can also be achieved. So what is the benefit of using Microsoft Fabric? One of the benefits is that it is a centralized data platform. What did I say? It's a centralized data platform. It improves data quality. So you don't have to be worried about, what kind of data am I using? Is the data the data reliability? Because the same data the engineering team have, is the same data the scientist team have, is the same data the analyst teams have. So you don't have to be putting data from one platform to another platform, and before you know it, bringing data from different solutions, different servers. Before you know it, you might even there might be a mix up, within your data. And when it comes to decision making, you will see that most organizations, even though they have the data, they still misinterpret or give decision, or maybe when it comes to decision making, they miss that important information because of how inadequate your data is. So when it comes to data accuracy, consistency, and reliability, Microsoft Fabric actually solved that solution. When it comes to scalability and performance, yeah, Microsoft Fabric is actually doing well. Well, I'm not trying to market Microsoft Fabric here, but so most of some things are still in preview because the technology is still very new. Actually, it's still very new. So the technology is still very new. So you might see some behavior, maybe whenever you are using it, they are still in progress as well. So when it comes to data-driven insight, yes, it empowers decision making, and you can make actionable insights from your from your interactive Power BI as well. So without wasting much of our time, right? So like I said earlier, so let's go back to the architecture. So let's say you are working in an organization and you have your data on different platforms. You have data in your data lake, you have data in your Azure SQL database, you have data in your OneDrive, and they are now saying that, okay, we want to implement a Microsoft Fabric solution. How do you implement this? This is your very first time to do it. What do you tell your stakeholders? What do you take your clients? I know some people will be scared. I've not used this platform before. How did I explain this solution to people? So that is what we are trying to break down to see how this solution, how this platform actually enable us to bring in data from different platform, different data source. We might not be able to cover everything because of the short time that we have, but we'll try our best to cover the little we can do. And I think you guys are also having another section on Microsoft Fabric tomorrow, which you are also going to enjoy. So if you are enjoying the session, let me know. Just type interesting. If you are not enjoying it, just say not interested. Not interesting. So let's see, just to get our reaction. Are you enjoying the session? Just let me know if you are enjoying the session. Are you enjoying the session? Interesting. Okay. If you are not interested, just let me know as well. Don't worry, so that I can bring more spices to it. So let's be real. Okay. All right. Thank you. Interesting. Okay, that's good. It's fine. Okay. So let's move to the Microsoft Fabric platform. Interesting. That's good. Awesome. All right. Okay. So this is Microsoft Fabric platform. So before I move on, have anybody been on Power BI? Have you used Power BI service before? Have you been on Power BI service before? Yes, just that we have not gotten all in Power BI in our Fabric game. Okay, interesting. So, okay, let me quickly say something. I would like to say something. I remember when Fabric was introduced 2 or 3 years ago. I think that was 2023. That was when Microsoft Fabric was first introduced. And when Fabric was introduced, I was still learning Power BI. Like, I don't know everything on Power BI. I don't even think I know SQL then. And I don't know Python as well, right? So I'm also confused. But there's something that tells me that, this is the next thing. Like, the earlier, the better. And I'm going to tell you guys today, the earlier, the better. In the next 5 years, 3 years now, bet it with me. You are going to be hearing someone saying that, or companies saying that they want to hire 5 years plus experience, 10 years plus experience people with Microsoft Fabric. They don't care whether you know it or whether your organization is using it or not. So the best time we can learn is now. The best time, because it is still very new. Now, most organizations that are hiring Microsoft Fabric developer now, they overlook some certain things that developer does not know. I was in an interview on Tuesday with a client. Actually, I'm not the one interview for the job, and I was just part of the panelists of that interview. And a lot of things were just being said that even the interviewer said were trying to he said, oh, this thing are still in preview. They know Microsoft Fabric is not in the best form at the moment because of some certain things that they are still developing. So please don't be scared about the technologies, the jargons that you are hearing, but let's try much as possible to put our mind in it. It's not hard at all. It's not hard. So let's put our mind in it. Okay, so that's that. So, okay, I think a lot of people have been on Power BI service before. So, Microsoft Fabric is also a SaaS solution, that's software as a service. So, you are not doing anything on your laptop. You are not installing any application when it comes to Microsoft Fabric. You are not, and I think that's one of the things that I like about it, because I don't have to be installing warehouse, installing one Python library, installing different applications. You don't have to do that. Right? If you have all those things installed on your system before, fine, you can integrate it with your Microsoft Fabric environment, like your VS Code, like your SSMS on your laptop. You can integrate it with your Microsoft Fabric environment, so you are not installing any new application. Okay, so now this is your Microsoft Fabric environment, and for those of us that have been on Power BI before, this is how Power BI service is. So for you to be able to use Microsoft Fabric, you need, I think, two essential things, and that is work email. You need a domain that have an active Fabric license on it. So currently, I'm using my Microsoft developer account. So I'm using the developer account. I think Microsoft have stopped giving developer account, but I have this developer account since I think since 4 years ago or 5 years ago or 4 years ago. Yeah, that's when I have the developer account, and it has been working since then, and I've been using it to do some developing, practicing, and all. And it has really been helpful for me, actually. So maybe if you are working in an organization, you can try to get a domain or get an account that's yeah, I'm lucky. Yeah, that's, if you say so. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So you can use it to practice. If you are working in an organization, you can get an account or a domain that you can use to register. And I think they will still give you 60 days. Just that after the 60 days, you might not have your hand on it again. So, but make use of the time, right? So you have your developer account, use it to practice. Then you need to have a Fabric license. So sometimes you might have an account, but that account might just have a pro license on it. So if it's just only pro license that you have, you might not be able to access Fabric experience, right? So you need you need a Fabric license to be able to do things on Fabric. So now let's move on. So I'm going to switch my experience on this bottom left. I'm going to switch my experience to Fabric. So let's switch the experience to Fabric. So this is Fabric. So this is how Fabric environment look like. So you can see welcome to Fabric, and you have different services, right? You have different services on the Fabric environment. So the first thing that we always do, when you come to this environment, is to create a workspace. So let's create a workspace that we're going to be using for our demo. So let's create a workspace. So I'm going to create a workspace. I will call it Analytics Extra. So I'll create a workspace called Analytics Extra. So if you look at it, you will see the license mode. So you can see premium per user, trial. So like I said earlier, using the trial version of it. So I'm using the trial version of it. So I'll pick my trial. If you are using the normal license Fabric capacity, you pick your capacity. Then we have semantic model storage. So are you working with a big data? Are you working with a small data? Depending on what kind of data you are working with or what kind of semantic model you want to build. So we're going to build a semantic model. I'm going to show you how to build a semantic model at the end of today's section. So you'll see it. So let's just pick the small semantic model for now. Then let's apply. So we are creating a workspace. So, okay. So now you can see that in my workspace, there is nothing in my workspace at the moment. There is nothing in my workspace, right? So now let's create, so there's something called item. So item is when you want to create different objects, like your notebook, your pipeline, your data flow, your copy job, event stream, Spark job, all those kind of activities or items. You can see different activities, SQL database, Azure Data Factory, please share the recording of this section. I'm sure that the recordings will be shared with you by the organizers. So we have different, items or objects within the fabric environment. And I think a lot of there are still some activities that are being worked on. Like you can see Mirror Oracle preview, SAP is in preview. A lot of them are still in preview. Organization Hub are in preview as well. So a lot of things here are still some of them are in preview, while some of them are already generally accepted. So that means that it is now fully in use. Machine learning, if you're a data scientist, like I mentioned earlier, if you're a data scientist, you can build your model within the Fabric platform as well. And okay, so yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. So different things you can do here. So one thing I always encourage is that, because when you have a lot of work, you can always create a folder. You can just call it what should we call our folder name? Let's just call it okay. So let's call it worldwide project. So this is the project I want to do. In case you have multiple projects, you can just create a folder to make sure that your work are well organized, right? Because I like that. Yeah. So we have this folder, right? So now for us to create item, so we have what we need to follow. So let's go back to this architecture. So in this architecture, I'll be using this architecture to show us what we need to do, but there are some things that have changed in this architecture. So, but I will explain to you. So we're going to be creating different objects like your lakehouse, data flow, pipeline, and the rest. So let's create that one first. So let's create these objects, all these objects that we have here. So let's create the objects. So the first one I will create is the lakehouse, which is very, very important because that is where our data will be stored. So let's say lakehouse. So you can see lakehouse. So let's create our lakehouse. So store big data for cleaning, querying, and reporting and sharing. So if you want to, so the lakehouse is where your data is going to be stored, right? That's where your data will be stored. So what should we call our lakehouse? So let's call it WWI lakehouse. Lakehouse. So lakehouse schema. So do we want our lakehouse to have a schema? So let's select it. Yes, we want it to have a schema. Then let's create. Nothing is moving on the screen. Is that correct? Is that for everybody or just for only Ijeoma? Is that for everybody? Someone said that my screen is not moving. Is that for everybody? Is that for everybody?
Your screen is moving. It's moving,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ijeoma, can you probably you can stop sharing and I'm sorry, you can leave the meeting and join again. Maybe it's your network. My screen is active. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I've created the lakehouse, right? So this is the lakehouse. So this is the lakehouse. Now, let me show you something. Immediately you create a lakehouse, right? Immediately you create a lakehouse, there's something that comes with it. You will not see it here until you go back to your workspace. So let's go back to the workspace so that I will show you what happens. So immediately you create your lakehouse, so you can see the object lakehouse. Another object will be automatically created with it, which is the SQL analytics endpoint. So this SQL analytics endpoint is where data analyst, right, can query. You can use it to query your data in your lakehouse. But this SQL analytics endpoint is just for read access. You cannot write into the analytics endpoint. You can only read. You can't write to it. So that means that you can only explore data with it. Do you understand? You cannot write into the analytic endpoint. So that's just it. So you can decide to move your object. After you create this object, you can decide to move it into your folder just for organization purpose or organizing purpose. You move into your lakehouse. You can move it to your folder. Then you can decide to open it from here as well. But let's go back here. So let's create another object. So we want to create another object. So let's create pipeline. The same pipeline we use just like your ADF. Is anybody here familiar with ADF? Anybody familiar with ADF? That's Azure Data Factory. Anybody familiar with ADF here? Is there anybody familiar with ADF? If you're familiar with ADF, just type yes, just to know uh, the levels that we have. So let's call this pipeline. Pipeline. Okay. Nobody's familiar with ADF. Interesting. Okay, so this is the pipeline. No, okay. So we have created a pipeline. So pipeline is just like your ADF. So orchestration or orchestrating, moving data, copying data, and all. So it's fine if you're not familiar with ADF. You'll have that experience today. You'll see what ADF does in Microsoft Fabric. So don't worry. Okay, so we have created the pipeline as well. So I'll go back to the workspace. I just want to show you how to create all objects that we need. So let's create data flow. Is anybody familiar with Power Query? Is anybody familiar with Power Query? Is anybody familiar with Power Query? Anybody familiar with Power Query? Interesting. Okay. Yes. Okay. You're familiar with Power Query. Okay. So Power Query is the same thing as Data Flow Gen 2 in Fabric. What did I say? Power Query is the same thing as what? Data Flow Gen 2 in Fabric. Power Query is the same thing as Data Flow Gen 2 in Fabric. Data flow. So we are creating data flow now. So I will show you that later. Okay. All right. So it's fine. So for those that knows data flow, so you'll flow with me. You might not be able to flow with me with other things, but when it comes to data flow, you will flow with me since you know Power Query. Interesting. All right, that's interesting. All right, so we can decide to move these two objects, data flow and pipeline. So let's move it into the folder that we created earlier. So let's move it here. Okay. Yeah, this one that is showing staging for data flow, staging for lakehouse, I believe just ignore this one for now. We are not doing anything with them. Just ignore them for now. So let's move on with our items that we have created. So we have created 3 items. Now, what are we using these 3 items that we have created for? Like I said, lakehouse is used for storing data. When it comes to big data, right? You are storing your data in your in your lakehouse. Now, what are we using data flow to do? In Microsoft Fabric, what we are using data flow to do is to ingest data, is to bring data and transform the data. We can decide to do injection and transformation together. That's what they call, is it ETL now or ELT? For people that knows transformation, and data engineers with us, is it ETL or ELT? So that is actually ETL, extracting, transforming, and loading the data. So when you transform your data, ETL, yeah, right, ETL. So when you transform your data before you load it, it is ETL. But when you load the data before, you have not transformed it, so that's, you get it, right? So in this process, when you are using data flow and you want to transform the data in that process, then you are doing ETL. Then we have pipeline. Pipeline is just like ADF, like I mentioned, to copy data from your data source and load it into your data lake, right? So now let's go back to our data lake. Sorry, I'm saying data lake. I'm used to using data lake. So let's go back to our lake house rather. So our lake house. So let's go back to the lake house. So this is the lake house, right? This is the lake house. Now in lake house, we have 5 ways. Is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 methods or 5 ways you can ingest data into the lake house. We have how many methods? We have 5 methods, but today I'm going to be showing you like 3 methods or 4 methods. Is it 3? Okay, I think 3. Yeah, I'll be showing you 3 methods on how to ingest data, right? I believe in your section tomorrow, the person that is going to take you might show you another method as well. So I will show you 3 methods out of 5 methods to ingest data into your lakehouse. So I'm going to show you the shortcut, which is number 1. I will also show you the data flow and the pipeline as well. So let's start with the shortcut. So what is shortcut in Microsoft Fabric? So shortcuts, hey, I think I have 1 hour for this session. Our moderator, are you sure we are not going to spend more than 1 hour today? Unless if people are not enjoying the section, because I have 15 minutes left and I'm not even sure we have covered half of what we have to do. But let's see how it goes.
Okay. You can go ahead, sir. Well,
all right, thank you. Okay, so we have the shortcut. So maybe I might have to be fast now. So I'm sorry if I'm fast. So we have the shortcut. So I have my data in my data lake. So the data lake is on my Azure port, is on the Azure. So let me quickly, where is the data? So the data is on Azure, is on data lake on Azure portal. So let me show you where the data is. The data is in my container on Azure portal. Okay, let me just duplicate this page so that I can item. Okay, so we have the data here in my data lake on Azure. Yeah, this is a data lake. So this is what they call data lake. So we have this data, these 2 data from my data lake. So what I want to do is that this data lake is a storage account on its own. Hello, this is a storage account. So now I want to use shortcuts. So when I say shortcuts, I don't want to copy the data into Azure, into Fabric rather. I don't want to copy the data. What I want to do is to just create a shortcut into this storage account because I don't want to be duplicating data left and right. If you have data in S3, you have data in Google Cloud, right? You don't want to be moving data from those storage. You just want to maintain those storage there. The only thing you want to do with Fabric is to create a shortcut to those storage. Now, there's a limitation to what you can do with shortcuts. I'm going to leave you with Microsoft documentation to go and read more about that, especially if you are preparing for Fabric data analytics exam, if you are preparing for data engineering exam, Fabric data engineering exam. These are the questions that they are going to ask you in your exam. So, when should you use a shortcut? What are the limitations of using a shortcut? So because of time, I will not be able to explain to stuff to you guys. So let's move on. So I want to create a shortcut. So I'm going to click on new shortcut. And I'm using data lake storage. So I'll click on Azure Data Lake. So let's create a new connection. So new connection. It's going to ask me for the URL. So I will go to my data lake on Azure. So what was the URL here? So I want to copy. Let's come back here. Okay. Let me come back here. So let's come here. I want to copy the URL. So I will go to container properties, then copy this code, copy this URL. Then I'll go back to my Fabric, then come and paste it here. So it's saying that an error occur, data lake Gen 2 does not support connection with blob service. So I'm going to change this blob to DFS. Yeah, so you might just have to be familiar with this environment. So it's going to ask you for authentication. So let me create a new connection because we are new here. So I'm going to use account key for authentication for security because you can't just bring data like that. There must be a security method for you to bring that data, right? So I'm going to use account key. So I'll go back to my Azure, then I will go to security and networking. So I'll go to access key. I'll go to access key, then I'll copy this key. Then come back here and paste the account key here. Then I'll click on next. So this time around, with this method, we are not actually loading the data into Fabric. We are just creating a shortcut. So you can see the landing zone. Can you see exactly how it is here as well? We go back to the storage, we go back to your container. So you can see landing zone. You can see ETR as well, landing zone. So we want to create a shortcut to that storage account. So let's click on next. So you can see the two data. So here you can also do some transformation, but I would advise you not to do anything here, because I feel like this one they are still working on it at the moment, because it doesn't. The moment you click on transforming here, is going to change some stuff for you. So let's just click on next. Then I'll click on create here. So let's click on create. Okay. So okay, I made a mistake actually. Okay, not really a mistake, but okay. So I should have created the shortcut in the file section, not in the table section. But let me see. Let me try and so I want to move this object to the file. So let's move it. File section. So you can see. So now you can see the landing zone. The landing zone. Okay. Files. Sorry, let me delete this and do it again. Let's do it again. So I think it's better we create the shortcuts in the file instead of the table section. So let's create it from here. New shortcuts. Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Okay, so you can use existing connection if you have it. So let's click on next. Landing zone. Next. Transform to Delta, about to change. Skip this. So let's create this. Proceeded. Okay, so now let's see. So you can see the two data, the other details and the customer data, just the way it is here. So you can see the two data that we have here. It's also, we have created a shortcut to it here. So you can see the two data here. You can check the data to preview them. Okay, so let's now, what I want to do now is that I want to move the data from my file to my table, right? Because if you try to open it here, so you can see how the data is, that you even need to clean the data. Actually, we're not talking about data cleaning today, so I will not be cleaning the data for you today, but just to show you how to ingest data and all. So so let's go back. So now let's copy the data and move the data into the table section. You know, I told you that we have the lake house is a combination of what? Of a data lake and a warehouse, right? So this layer, the file layer, is your data lake, while the table section is what? Is your warehouse structure or warehouse layer. So let's move it. So I will load to the table section. So I'll click on new table. So load. Let's click on load. So it's going to move the data, load the data here. But what we are doing is creating a shortcut. We actually did not bring in the data into the fabric. We created a shortcut. We didn't bring the data here. We didn't ingest the data here. So let's refresh this. So if you refresh, can you see the customer data here now? So you will now be able to have it in tables, in your tables and rows. Okay. So so you can see it in tables and rows now. So interesting. So now let's quickly move on. So the next one we're going to be doing is to move data from, so we want to move data from Azure SQL database. We want to move data from Azure SQL database. So let me quickly show you the data. Okay. While this is loading, let me prepare something else here. While that is loading, something. Okay. So let's go back to the Azure portal. Okay, so I'm going to click on OK for this. So now we have another data, like if you can see in our architecture here, we also have a data in Azure SQL database on the cloud. This data is also on the cloud as well. So this time around, we want to use data pipeline to ingest the data because, you know, without data, you cannot do anything in Fabric. So you need to bring in data. You understand? So you need to bring in data. So now let's see this data. So we have this data. So let's do select all. Please, I hope you guys can see my screen. I hope you guys can hear me. Select all from.
Yes, sir, we can.
All right, thank you. So let's quickly run this and see. So you can see this data here as well. So we want to bring this data from here as well. We want to ingest it into Fabric as well. So let's go back to Fabric. So how do you ingest this data? So this time around, we don't want to use shortcuts. We want to use pipeline. So we want to use pipeline now. We want to use pipeline. So how do we use pipeline? So just to create a very short, a very simple, we're going to use the copy data. So we're going to use copy data. So copy data, move data from your source to your destination. So we have source. So what's our source? Who can tell us what's our source data? Where is data coming from? What's our source data? What's our source data? Just to be sure that we are following. Our source data is coming from where? Where's our data coming from? I'm expecting response from us to Azure SQL. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Azure SQL. So our source data is coming from Azure SQL. So I'm going to click on select. I will browse all. I'll browse all. So you can say that Fabric have, when you are using the pipeline, you have a lot of data source. So name it, which data source, Azure Databricks, Oracle, ODBS, Dataverse, Snowflake, BigQuery. You know, you have a lot of options, right, that you can connect data from. Do you understand? Microsoft 365, Cosmos DB, you know, Amazon S3, SAP, Dynamics CRM, you know, a lot of data source that you can actually connect your data from, right? So in our case, we are connecting from Azure SQL database. So it's going to ask you for the server name. So I'll go back to my Azure. So let's copy the server name. So I'll copy the server name, then paste it here. Database, that is optional. So let's create connection. I'm going to use basic. Is it basic? Yeah. I will use basic. So username, password, my password here. Then I'll click on connect. Okay. So so you can see now. So let's check. So let's select the table manually. Let's see if the table is here. Okay. Database. Okay. So you need to pick your database as well. So this is the table. Can you see the table? So you can preview the data to be sure that that's the data you want. So you can see the data, right? This is the data. So let's go back to our copy data. Then we'll go to our destination. Where is our destination? Our destination is what? What's our destination? Where are we loading the data to? Anyone? Where are we loading our data to? Where are we loading our data to? Public lakehouse. Okay, yeah, it's just you are following. So we are loading the data into the lakehouse, right? So you can also browse all. Right. So you can browse all. So you can see new fabric item. So you can also click on view more one lake catalog. So one lake catalog is your, like I mentioned earlier, that's your story. So you can see WWI lakeout, the lakeout that I created earlier. Sorry, I also have some. I think I have one that I use. This is a demo. So this is the one that we created today. So let's click on this. So we choose our lakehouse already. Then table, we don't have any existing table before, right? For this, we don't have any existing table for the fat table that we want to load. So we're going to click on new data. Schema table name will be fat order. Fat orders. So let's create. So new fat orders. So what's your table action? Do you want to append or you want to overwrite? So if you are going to be bringing in data every time, you can choose append. And if you want to overwrite, you want to update the record, you can also choose overwrite. Any method that you feel like you want to choose, you can choose that. So once you are done with that, I think that's all we need to do for now. So let's save. Let's save. And after you save, let's run the pipeline. So this is just a very short pipeline anyway. We have more complex pipeline, but for the sake of introduction, so let's not go deep before everybody heads scatter today. It's fine. So the pipeline is running already. Okay. So, in progress. Okay. So let's just be patient. Anyway. Okay, yeah, successful. So now let's go back to the pipeline, to the lakehouse. So in our lakehouse, let's refresh. Let's refresh our table here. So can you see the table now? Fat order that we bring from the Azure Data Lake, Azure SQL database. So you can see the table now. Fat order is now in our lakehouse. So now let's use the data flow, which will be the last one we will use for today to ingest data. So let's use data flow. So data flow, the data is coming from my OneDrive. The data is coming from my OneDrive, and I want to bring in the shipper data, products, and category. These are the three data that I want to bring from my OneDrive. So I'll click here, then I'll go to details. I'll go to details. So let's scroll down. I'll go to parts. I'll copy this part. Then I'll go back to my fabric. I'll go to get data. I'll click on more. So I'll just use the best method, the web API. That's the one that I will use. So let's paste the link, the URL. Credential is mine. So because the OneDrive is my email. So if you look at the OneDrive, you can see that is my developer account. So you can also, it will ask you for credential. So the same credential that I will use is my organization account. So I'll click on next. Sorry, the network is a bit slow. Okay. So this is the data. Okay, so you can see. So I'm very sure that you guys are familiar with Power Query already. And I told you earlier that data Power Query is the same thing as data flow. It's just name, right? It's just what? It's just name. So I'll call this one category. So if you want to do transformation here, you can do your transformation here, right? You can do your transformation, but we're not going to do much today because of time. So let's bring in the other data as well. Web API. So let me go back to my. So let's see products. Details. So let's copy the paths. Okay, so because of time, I will just limit it to these two. So let's just do these two because of time. I will not do the last one that I want to achieve. I'm running late already. Just to compare. Okay, so let's move this one as well. Great. So this is the product table. Okay, so let's change this one, or let's rename it to products. Please, are we still together? Just to confirm, just to be sure that we are all together. Are we still together? Just to be sure. Just to get prepared. Okay, so this is the product, right? So now you might want to do some transformation because we want to create some relationship. So I need to check. So let me go back to my lake house. So let me check something from the lake house. The product ID is the product ID is a text. You can see that the product ID here is a text. So let me go back to my data flow. It's a text. So I need to change this one to text as well. If you do not change it to text, you will not be able to create your model. So replace current here. Okay. Category is also what? Let's check the category ID. So category is a numeric. Let me check here. Is it numeric as well? Category is numeric as well. Okay. I can't hear you again. Please, can anyone hear me? Can you guys hear me? Someone say you can't hear me. Can you all hear me? Okay, so yes, okay, it's fine. You're audible. Okay, that's fine. All right. So now we want to pick our destination. So category, so you can pick your destination here. Can you see? Add data destination here. So we want to pick for category. So I'm going to say lake house because that's where I want to ingest the data into. So I'll click on next. So where is my lake house? Analytic extra. That's my lake house. Then I'll pick this lake house. Then I'll click on next. So let's click on save. Sorry, because of time, I might not be able to explain some stuff here. Sorry for that. I believe whoever is taking it tomorrow, do more justice. Yeah. So let's just be fast. it. So I have picked destination for my category. I also need to pick destination for my product as well. So you need to pick destination for your product. So let's pick destination for our product. So I'll click on product. So instead of choosing it from here, you can also pick destination from your bottom right. So you can see from your bottom right here as well. It's the same thing, lake house. Yeah. Next. So the same thing, analytic extra. Okay. Save settings. Yeah, I think some people are hearing me now. David, you might have to check your network. I think some people are hearing me. If you can hear me, let's type yes so that it's not only
Yes, I
David.
hear you.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you guys. All right. So I've selected all the destination that we need to load the data to. So now we go to save and run. So you pick save and run. Do you want to save and run or just want to run in or you want to save alone? So either one you want to choose. So let's click on save and run. So we save and run. So when you pick on save and run, what happens? If it depends on your data, right? If the data is large, if it's not large, what happens? So now how to check your data? What happens? You go to your workspace. You go to your workspace. Then you go to pipe data flow. Go to your data flow. Go to recent run to check the status of your run, whether it is successful or not. Recent run is for your data flow. So you can see in progress. So you can see the status of your run, whether it has successfully run or not. So in progress. So you have to keep checking here to know what the status is. Still in progress. Let's run it again. Still in progress. Okay, succeeded, right? Succeeded. So now let's go back to our lakehouse now. Let's go back to our lakehouse. So let's refresh the lakehouse. So you can see the two tables, the products and the category. So once you are done with bringing your data, you have to clean your data. We did not do any data transformation because of time. We can't do that, right? So I'm not going to do, maybe in subsequent session or webinars, we'll talk about cleaning data with Fabric and all. So the next thing I will do is that I'm going to switch my experience. I will switch it to the SQL analytical endpoint. So let's create semantic model. So let's create what they call semantic model. So let's create a semantic model so let's assume that the data is clean. Now let's create a semantic model. So I'll just create a new semantic model. So you can see the semantic model. So what's the name of the semantic model? So let's call it WWI semantic model. Semantic model. So I want to pick all the tables here. Then I'll click on confirm. So now you can see the semantic model, right? So let's create our relationship. I'm very sure this is familiar with those from Power BI background, or is it not familiar? So let's create our relationship. Customer ID to customer ID. So let's create a relationship. Product ID. That is this. So let's create product ID. Save. So category. So this is going to be like a form of snowflake schema. I believe we all know what the different type of model, snowflake, task schema, and the likes. Okay, so you can see the different relationship, the relationship that we have. So now you can decide to create measure. How do you create a measure? So let's try and create one or two measure. So if you want to create your measure, so we say create new measure. So let's just create, let's say that I want to create revenue. So let's say I want to create revenue. Say revenue equals to, so let's say sum x. For those that know DAX function, right? Sum x, fats, order, so quantity multiplied by related product unit price. Is that the revenue? Is it unit price or sales price? Let me check. Okay, unit price. Yeah, it's correct. Okay. So we created it. I'll just create a simple DAX, just one DAX because of time. So now you have created your revenue. If you want to format it, you know, this is like a revenue. So let's format this revenue. I'll come down here. Then I will go to general, change it to currency, let's format it to, let's say we want to format it to dollar, format it to dollar, right? So let's say I have customer and I want to change this country to country. I want to categorize it as a country. I'll go to advanced. I'll go to advanced. Then I'll go to data category, then change it to country. You will see that there will be this globe icon, just like the way you normally have it in Power BI, right? So you can see. So that is that. So now we're almost done. So you can now create your report. If you want to create your report, if you don't want to go to Power BI, you can create your report here. So click on create new report. Click on new report. You can decide to create your report here if you want to. So there's something that I actually observe. I think maybe Power BI, updates. So I could not see the new card or the old card. I can't see it here again. I don't know what they did. I believe it's the update that they are doing. So I can't see. So, but it's fine. Let's just proceed. So we have this revenue. So let's just say revenue by category name. So you can see. So you can create your report here. So you can see if you want to create your dashboard, but we're not talking about report today. So and also, so you can see how you can, if you want to create your report, you can create it. Everything is perfectly on the cloud. You are not going to Power BI desktop to do anything. Everything is on the cloud. You can see it end to end and all. You can now save your reports, save these reports, whatever. So let's say, let's save it as WW reports, save. So you can see now, I've saved these reports. Now, let me show you the beauty things. For people that are Power BI developer, right? So it is most likely, if you did not learn Fabric, if you did not learn Fabric, what your data engineers is most likely going to do for you, and that's where you will be sidelined. And I don't want you guys to be sidelined. It's better for you to come and learn Fabric yourself. And it's very interesting. You can see end to end. We have done it in 1 hour. We have done everything. So now what your data engineers is going to do for you is that what they are going to do is that you see the semantic model that we create. Now, this is what you will now connect with in Power BI. So how do you connect this semantic model to Power BI? Now, let me show you how to connect it. So in Power BI, you come to your get data, Power BI semantic model. Can you see? You click on Power BI semantic model. So you can see the semantic model that I just created, Analytic Extra. So you can see all the items that I have in my workspace. So I'm going to pick this semantic model. So you have two ways of connecting it. Connect and create reports, connect live. So let's connect live. Live editing, blah, blah, blah. So now you can see this connect live. What is happening here? Oh, okay. I think I made a mistake. So this is just to edit your semantic model. If you want to come and edit your semantic model here, I think that's what I just did. Yeah. So I only want to edit here. So what I'm supposed to do is to create the report side of it. So that's what I'm supposed to do. I might have to. So I hope you guys understand that. So because of time, I don't want to exceed 5:30. So what I'm supposed to do is to create the report, not to edit it. So I made a mistake when connecting that. So I think that's where we are going to stop for today. Please, if you have any question, let's use the remaining 9 minutes to answer questions. So any question from anyone? Sorry for wasting your time today. Apologies to the organizers. Hey, this person
Thank
scared
you
me.
very much, sir.
All right.
Okay, I think there's a question for you in the chat.
I'm even scared, Seth. I be like the person don't even mean me before. The person has mean me with the question, like he's typing the question already. Interesting. Okay, you want to continue, the moderator?
No, sir, you can answer this question. Okay, so okay, let me just quickly say this. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the session. So because of time, we would like to take our questions, but we will not be taking so much questions. So if you have any questions, you can drop in the chat or raise your hand, and I'll unmute you so that you can speak. But sir, we can go ahead with this question in the chat.
Okay, so let me go over the question. Is Microsoft Fabric an online only platform? What type of account is required to sign up? That's the first question. Does Microsoft Fabric require a separate license, or it is included in Microsoft 365 or Power BI subscription? That's the second question. When should we use Dataflow Gen 2 instead of Spark Notebook for data transformation? And what are the practical advantages? That's third question. Okay, the fourth question. Can Fabric connect to external data source like SQL Server, Azure Storage? I think I want to answer this question because we did that already. Can Fabric connect to external data source like SQL Server, Azure Storage, or third-party database? And how does one storage format support this? What is one major action students should avoid in Fabric to prevent high cost or poor performance? Yeah, I like your question anyway. I think if any other person wants to ask questions, it won't pass this. But I think I will not answer your is it your fourth question now? Can Fabric connect to external data source like SQL Server? I think I've already done that already. Connecting to Azure SQL database, connecting to Data Lake Gen 2, yeah. So when it comes to connecting to S3, other platform, yes, you can also connect to that. David, yeah, you can connect to external third party. Is Fabric an online only platform? Yeah, it's an online. Yeah, it's online only platform. Yeah, that's Fabric. But you can also integrate it with um other application like SSMS. You can connect Fabric to SSMS. You can connect Fabric to Power BI. Just see the way I connect my semantic model from Fabric to Power BI now, and you can do your editing there. Do you understand? So yes, you can. It's an online platform, but you can integrate it with other software. Does Fabric require a separate license or it is included in? Yes, it requires a separate license. Yeah. David, Fabric requires a separate license. If you have a pro license, you will still need to do Fabric license. Yes. When should we use data flow Gen 2 instead of Spark Notebook? Okay, I think I did maybe a talk on data flow and Spark or Notebook some months ago. So when it comes to data flow, it depends. Number one, I would say skills knowledge. I'm very sure that most of us on this call might not even know Spark. Or let me even ask, if you know Spark on this call, can you type Spark if you know Spark? If you know Spark, if you have used Apache Spark before, can you just type Spark? If I'm going to look at it, the majority of us are data analysts, and most of us might not even know Spark. So if you don't know Spark, use data flow to ingest data. So now, one thing I would say is your knowledge base. What do you know? What is your skills? So if you don't know Spark, use data flow to ingest data. Number two, your data. Where is it coming from? If your data is coming from a complex or a customized platform, API, like you have to use API, data flow might not be the best to use. So you might have to use Spark to achieve that. Do you understand? What is the size of your data? If you are having data of about, let's say 70 million or over 100 million, you cannot be using data flow to do that. Spark and your notebook will be the best, or copy data pipeline can be the best to achieve that. You can't use data flow. Data flow is for small data sets. Do you understand? So I won't go too much on that. Can Fabric connect to? Okay, I think I've answered that. Okay, what is one major student should avoid in Fabric to prevent high cost or poor performance? Well, when it comes to costs, I'm not really. I don't think you need to be scared about cost in Fabric now. I don't think so, because Fabric has its own, how will I say it now? It has its own dedicated or fixed price already for different license or different SKU. So if you want to, depending on what you want to deploy, it's not like Azure. On Azure, that's when I can be telling you to go and create budget, go and set an alert on Azure. But on Fabric, I don't think you need that. You don't need to set any alerts, any budgets here. One thing about Fabric is that whatever you want to create, for example, now you want to create pipeline, notebook, you know the size of your data. What you just need to know is, okay, what capacity do I need to implement my work? Is it the F2 capacity? Is it the F4 capacity? Is it the F64 capacity? Do you understand? So what you need is to know, okay, your workload and what capacity is required for your workload. So when it comes to cost, I don't think you should be scared about that one. No, I think what you should just be mindful of is, okay, the capacity that I want to require, is it going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve with your task? Do you understand? I think I remember I was working like 2 months ago or a month ago in my company, and I think we are using F8 capacity. So on that F8 capacity, I think I created a pipeline. The pipeline to ingest data every 1 minute. Actually, that's not a good idea, because I could have used event stream to bring the data instead of using pipeline. So after creating that pipeline, in less than 2 hours, one of my colleagues just called me and said, our environment is no longer working again. That what is happening? Then we realized that the pipeline that I created, the pipeline is heavy for that workspace. So we have to upgrade our workspace from F8, our license rather, from F8 to about maybe F64 or F32. So your workload is what matters, on the kind of license you need or the kind of environment that you might want to purchase. I hope I've answered all your questions, David. Is there another question? I hope I've answered all your questions.
Thank you for doing justice to that, sir. So please does anyone have any other question? No, there's can't see any hands raised. If you have any questions, you can just drop in the chat. Or please raise your hands. Okay, so in the absence of no questions, once again, thank you, Mr. Falaranshaw. Thank you so much for this session. I'm very sure we have all picked one or two in this. And so for some of us, it might still be new, and we're still trying to. Okay, I think someone's hand is raised. Okay, let me quickly allow you to speak. So hi, Babalola Yomide, you can go ahead.
Mistake.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's a mistake. Sorry, please.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for some of us, it might still be a new tool. So I think people are still trying to digest everything. So I believe probably in the future we'll also have more questions. So we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you all for joining. And we also have another session tomorrow. So tomorrow will be an all-rounder session. So we are doing end-to-end analytics with Microsoft Fabric. So Mr. Folonsho just scratched the surface for us today. Tomorrow we'll be doing an end-to-end analytics with Microsoft Fabric. So do well to join tomorrow, 5 p.m. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.